All right, so we're live. So this is our first edition of the Recap Roundtable here from PT on Ice. So Institute of Clinical Excellence, a lot of us are into CrossFit now. Most of the folks on this call are CrossFit certified coaches. We just wanted to jump on and give our thoughts about Open Workout 19.1 over this weekend. Everybody here but Jeff has done it already. So I'll introduce all the folks on the call. We've got Mitch Babcock here. Mitch is a PT for Michigan, CrossFit Level 2 coach. We've got Justin Dunaway here, a PT from Portland. This is your first Open, right, Justin? First Open, just started CrossFit about 3 months ago. This is Mitch's third Open, been doing CrossFit for as long. We have Jordan here, who's been doing CrossFit for about 2 years. This is Jordan. Is this your first Open, right?
First registered, yeah.
First registered Open, okay. Jordan's also a CrossFit coach. We've got Jeff Moore, the CEO of ICE, up here. This is his first CrossFit Open. And then we've got Zach Morgan here, also a CrossFit coach. Zach's been doing CrossFit for a while now, 4 or 5 years?
Since 2010.
Since 2010. Okay, so 9 years. How many Opens have you done, Zach?
This is either the 4th or 5th.
Okay. Okay. And then we've also got Zach Long, who's not on video here, also a PT, also a CrossFit coach. Is this your first Open, Zach?
Second Open. I haven't done it since 2015.
Okay, second Open, first Open since 2015. So a lot of varied experience. This is my first Open, my first official Open. And we have some folks who will be joining us in the coming weeks who couldn't make it today. We'll have Christina Private jumping on, who is a physio and a CrossFit coach and a longtime CrossFit athlete who will be giving us a nice perspective of the CrossFit Open through the eyes of a pregnant athlete. We'll have Dustin Jones joining us as well as Allie Hartman and Sarah Heron as they're available in the next couple of weeks. So just run down the list here. Just give me your thoughts. As I said, everybody here but Jeff has done 19.1 already. So just give me your thoughts on the workout, both what you think of it as a workout and how your individual experience went with it. So we'll start from the top here.
Well, did you mention what the workout was?
Let me do that.
So 19.1 is 15-minute AMRAP, 19 wall balls, 19 calories of rower. Very simple, classic CrossFit couplet there, wall balls and rowing. Some people were a little upset. It's too boring. Just haven't done enough rowing and wall balls. Couplet is a boring couplet, or you just haven't done 19.1 yet. Because I'm hearing anything but boring and getting so very simplistic. I like the way that we rolled this out first week of the Open. Remember, we're trying to be really inclusive. Great many people live, explore CrossFit. 19.1 is a really nice way of saying, hey, I can RX. So really cool that they programmed that. A couple things that jump off the bat. 15-minute AMRAP is a long time. It might not look or sound like a long time on paper, but in a couplet like this, where you're going to have a bunch of transitions back and forth, it's going to start quickly feeling like a long time. And for me, that was around like minute number 8. And I thought, I had a good strategy going in. I could hold until minute 10, and then decide what I want to do, how bad do I want to run for the last 5 minutes. 2/3 of the front, face it, 1/3 at the end, and really drop the hammer. But I got there a little too quick. I got there about minute 8 instead of 7 for me. And I see a lot of athletes that are coming up on the game and recognizing this is a longer by CrossFit workout, especially the Open, and that they're going to have to settle into a pace early on and not get into like the energy or the amplitude of like an Open workout and try to jump out the gate. So I saw a lot of athletes on broken wall balls, ripping the rower at like 16 or 18 calories per hour, and that is you're straight into the wall right now at 90 miles an hour. And kicking around, breaking the wall balls. And ends up being the row slows down 50%. So if you can come out the gate, my approach was something like, if I can hold, for me, I practice rowing calories pretty extensively. So if I can hold around 1,500 calories per hour, I do a slow recovery stroke there with the rower, kind of a fast pull and slow recovery. If I can hold there, finish off the rower under a minute, and then go and broke on the wall balls in under a minute, just kind of back and forth, push this as like early first 10 minutes. be somewhere around the 5th to 6th round at minute 10, and then have a decision for the last 5. So that was kind of my strategy approach to these things, given what I trained for and prep for. But it all depends on your wall ball capacity. If you haven't trained unbroken wall balls, sets of 20 consistently in CatCons, today is not the day to try to go 19 broken, because it's just going to pay you to the red. You don't want to be too broken. So what I've been telling a lot of my athletes, hey, break those wall balls really. If you're not comfortable with 19 20, break them at 11 or 8, break them at 10 or 9, and then find just a good pace where you can keep that row going, almost recover your breath over the 40 seconds of wall balls. So those are my initial thoughts.
All right. We'll jump to Zach. Zach Long next, because I know Zach has to jump off soon. So Zach, give us your thoughts here really quick. As one of the taller athletes on the ice staff.
Yeah, so I'm 6'2", but I've been training almost exclusively for powerlifting over the last year. So I was actually pretty nervous going into the Open and knowing that my conditioning's not where it should be. I think I probably underperformed on this because being 6'2", wall balls are in my wheelhouse. I think I probably should have been a little bit more aggressive out of the gate. I'm happy with how I did. But basically, my whole strategy was, I know I can do all of the wall balls unbroken. So I just said, I want to make sure I don't crush myself on the rower, because a 5-second difference on those 19 calories on the rower can be a world of difference between feeling kind of semi-recovered or being absolutely crushed. So every time I got on the rower, I knew I'd be a little bit more tired than when I got on it, but I just didn't want to get slammed by the rower so that I can stay consistent with being unbroken on the wall ball. And so for me, I didn't really hit the wall until about minute 13 is when my legs started to get pretty trashed.
All right, cool. I know Zach has to go, so very brief here. We'll jump over to Justin. Justin, tell us a little bit about how you approached it. And then also, I guess, tell us a little bit about your experience, given that you've recently started CrossFit and this is your first CrossFit Open and your first CrossFit Open workout.
Yeah, totally. It was, I agree with Mitch. It was anything but boring. You walk into the gym and you just see those two little things on the board and you're thinking, this isn't going to be so bad. And it was so bad. Yeah, being that I'm a novice and have very little experience in this gym, I've got very little concept of, I haven't really developed a whole lot of pacing or strategy yet. And logging into it in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I can row okay, so I'm going to use that as kind of where I catch my breath and really try to nail the wall balls. And then 3, 2, 1, go, and I was on that rower, and I was just really excited about being my first 19-1, and like any novice, I just blew it out of the gate. Yeah, I crushed that first round of rowers, and then it was straight downhill for the next 15 minutes. I think by the third round, I was no repping a ton of the wall balls, and it just fell apart really quick. But it was an absolute blast, and I think I definitely learned a little bit about trying to pace better on 19-2.
I know I'm going to repeat. Mitch is going to repeat. Justin, are you going to repeat it today?
Oh, probably not.
Okay.
I'm going to go in and do the Monday programmed workout and just
be happy with your score?
Friday.
Okay, right on. Let's jump to Jordan next. Jordan, what are your thoughts here?
So just to echo what Mitch was saying, I was going through reading some of the boards for people talking about the workout, and it's interesting to hear the different perspectives of people who have done CrossFit for a long time and some who are new to it on the workout. But I think this is a cool workout because there's really, from a skill perspective, there's not very much involved. So a lot of people, I think, will be encouraged off the first one that they can RX and they don't have to worry about some movement that they're not familiar with. And it's just how much can you grind, right? There's not a lot of thinking with it. There's not a lot of, there's transitions, but not a lot of transitions through different movement components. So for this one, for me, this is, I call it the voice in your head workout, where, only 2 movements and you're staying with them for a decent amount of time. It's really when that voice in your head starts talking to you, like how much can you grind through it, because last year a lot of the movements where you're looking at 3, 4, 5 different movements in a workout. You have more time that you're thinking about the movements and what's coming next, and this is just pure like, can I get through this or can I? So mine was my limiting factor was row for sure. All my wall balls were fine, unbroken, but I break down with aerobic power pretty quick. 3 or 4 years of powerlifting does not really set you up for 15 minutes of a long time rowing. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is a good workout for me to just say, I wasn't fit enough to do exactly what I wanted to do. All excuses aside, I think this is a cool workout for people to really reflect on, and you can have all the excuses you want, but at the end of the day, you're fit enough or you're not to meet the score that you want.
Are you going to retest today, given the fact that you seem unhappy that you tied my score, which seems to imply that you're fitter than I am?
I'm not. So I did it pretty late yesterday, so I'm still pretty smoked from it. So I'm not gonna.
So I will beat you on this one for sure.
I might redo it if you send me a score today that's above what you got last.
Okay, right on. Fair enough. Let's jump down to Zach Morgan. Zach, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it is interesting seeing like the community, like the CrossFit's had a lot of changes recently, and I feel like people are sort of split on those changes. But I've seen so many people whining about the workout, and it's probably to none of you guys that know me surprised that like I don't have a lot of sympathy for that. So 13.1, like back in 2013, the first one, 7-minute AMRAP with burpees. Doesn't get more simple than that. This is a lot more fun to do than 7 minutes of burpees. So, when everybody was like, oh, this is too simple, whatever, to me, it's like, well, hey, if you're that good, put up a good score. If it's that easy for you, just knock out 9 rounds, then talk about how easy it is. But no, I thought it was a good workout. I really did. I like the inclusivity, and I like the fact that it's really, just like anything with CrossFit, really the fitter you get, the worse it gets. So, if you're really, really fit and you can keep that rower fan moving really, really fast, it's just going to hurt worse. So it's not like, you trail off as you go. So I thought it was a great workout. I had a strategy in my head, kind of like Mitch was talking about, keep that rower above 1,000 calories per hour, and then just go unbroken on the wall balls. I think the thing that always is interesting to me about the open versus just your standard day in the gym is everybody obviously has a lot of anxiety around the workout and a lot of strategy going in. And, I think the 2 biggest things that should probably highlight to you as an athlete are like, you're going to focus on quality really strongly. You're going to try your hardest not to get those no reps. And do you do that during the regular workouts throughout the week? If not, then I think that focus has to improve because, you're focusing on quality, efficiency, all these things during the open, but that really should be a day in and day out thing that you're doing in the gym if you want to be better this time next year. So that's the biggest thing, I think. And a lot of times I think in CrossFit, we try to do way too much. People will do a huge lifting session, they'll do a workout, and they'll do 9 other things that day. If you did 19.1 all out, you felt like the full stimulus of CrossFit, in my opinion. It will wear you down if you give that 15 minutes your all. And you don't necessarily today need to also do a 5x5 back squat. And probably if you do, you're probably not going to be able to give it all that it deserves. So those are my overarching thoughts, especially on 19.1.
Awesome. I'll give my thoughts, and then Dustin. Dustin actually ditched us to go to CrossFit today. That's why he's not on this call. So I'll give my thoughts, and then Dustin sent me his thoughts that he wanted me to read, and then having given all those thoughts, we'll leave off with Jeff, knowing that he hasn't done it yet, and see if any of these words of wisdom have changed his approach. So I went into this being very happy because it's two movements that I could do. Still having some mobility limitations and not being up to par on my gymnastics. I was not looking forward to anything like bar ring muscle ups or double unders or anything like that. So I was happy to see that I could do both movements and RX them. I think I went into it a little bit cocky, thinking that my fitness has improved so much in a year that I could approach the wall balls unbroken, which ate me up pretty early. took some advice from Mitch on the rower, which helped a lot. I think I'm going to play a little bit more with the rower today before we hit it again, and just play with the damper mainly. But was happy on my pace on the rower, but just trying to approach the wall balls all the way unbroken for the first 3 rounds just ran me terribly, and I couldn't really recover, and just kind of hung on for 3 more rounds, especially being a shorter athlete, needing to pop up onto my toes to hit the wall. Kind of ate me up pretty quick and resulted in a lower score than I wanted. So I'm going to break the wall balls. No, not damper, not on 10. I think it was on 6.5. I'm not that guy. If you put your damper on 10 to row for calories, you don't know what you're doing. There's a little thing on your rower for everybody that doesn't know called drag factor. So check out your drag factor. Make sure you're pulling at the right damper setting. You want to be hitting, I think, 1250 calories to get 1 calorie per pull. So that's where you should be aiming at. No less, no more. If you jump on and you row 1800, you're just going to burn yourself out. So I'm going to play with the damper a bit, see if I can't make it a little bit easier to stay around 1250, and then I'm probably going to start maybe even the first round breaking the wall balls, just knowing that it's not a solid movement pattern for me, and I want to be able to hold on for longer. I remember looking up at the timer, and I think it said 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the workout. I remember thinking, oh shit, I'm done for. Well, I feel like I've been doing this workout forever, and I still have 12 minutes to go. So I'm going to break up the wall balls a little bit earlier, work with Mitch a little bit. My judge Friday screamed at me drill sergeant style, which I've been conditioned to not respond to. So hopefully with Mitch next to me yelling out objective data that I can respond to, I will do a lot better. So those are my thoughts. But I think from like Zach Morgan said, from a community design standpoint, I think this was a great workout. We encouraged all the athletes here to go RX, and I think 99.99% of them did. And I think it's cool for people to say, hey, I RX'd my first CrossFit Open Workout. I think that does a lot for the community, and it does a lot for the athlete on an individual basis. I'll read Dustin's thoughts here real quick, and then we'll finish with Jeff. Dustin said this felt very similar to a marathon, so Dustin comes from a running background. Dustin said this felt very similar to a marathon. The first third of the workout, so the first 5 minutes, find a solid pace and hold on. The second third, so minute 5 to 10, pick up the pace, prepare to enter the hurt locker, and then the final third, just go blackout mode. That was his approach, and he ended up posting a pretty good score, but he's also a taller athlete. I think he got into the 7th or 8th round, so he did pretty well. So, Jeff, having heard all of the variety of advice here and strategies, what are your thoughts heading in to do it later today?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, I'm pumped. I can't wait to do it. I've watched so many folks go through it. I think the elephant's in the room. I mean, this is my shot. Like my genome forgot to express any type 2 fibers, but this game I can probably play. So I'm kind of looking at going forward. I mean, my strategy, I was gonna train high and perform low. So I was hoping that Steve could coach me this weekend in Baton Rouge, because I'm standing here at 5,000 feet, and this is where I usually train. So I thought I could use a little bit of the elevation gain, drop down to sea level, and hammer out 19.1. But Steve's not a coach, so that was a no-go. So I'm going to do it here at altitude tonight at 3:15. My overall plan, I'm kind of a Steve Prefontaine guy. I mean, I want to make it a guts race, so unlike you guys, I'm going to come out hard. I want to get those first couple rounds, because, I mean, the biggest concern is looking back and feeling you could have went harder early. Like, I can't live with that. So I'm going to open up, and I'm going to put myself in a really dark place, and then I'm going to see if I can make it a guts race and leg it out to the end. So I'm kind of doing the opposite of Dustin Jones. So I'm thinking I'm going to go for 1,300 calories on the rower, unbroken wall balls, and then just see how long it takes to get dizzy, and then see if I can't stay dark until the end. So I mean, I don't know what to expect, but if I've got a shot, it's this one. I will say that this open thing is unbelievable. So I've never done this before. I actually brought my wife and kids down to CrossFit Endure, and they had the kickoff on Thursday, and we had an RX division and a scale division, and some of our best athletes competed against each other. So we got to watch some of that. They got to watch more than I did, but cool to see the community in there rooting them on, and there was a booth in there, and people were just getting so fired up. So, like, just the amount of energy surrounding this is exciting. So can't wait to give it my shot, but I can promise this, I'm going to leave it all out there because I'm going to bump into a few workouts where I can't do a lot of it, but I got no excuses here.
Yeah. If I could just piggyback on top of that, because being an athlete is one thing, and managing the affiliate is another. And that's really where I get most pumped up stuff. So our affiliate is up to 65 registered participants. So that's not long ago. 3 years ago, the gym didn't even have that many members, right? So now we've got a membership base that's twice that size, and almost 50% of our members that are registered for the Open. So it's really, really fun now. And we do Friday night lights, and when it comes in, we're running like 4 or 5 heats Friday nights to get everyone to come in. People are bringing their whole families, right? Some of our members like to do that. They brought their 4 boys, their little boys, they just like 3 to 9, they're all sitting there rooting on mom and dad, watching the car, and mom tells them after, it's not about just a score or beating dad, it's about showing the boys that, like, when mom asks you to work hard, she also works hard. And there's so many, like, millions of little storylines right there, and we work, like, 5 weeks with this roundtable, we don't cover them all, but it's really, really fun to watch people come in, to get excited about being competitive with themselves again, to get in that environment where they're, like, nervous. Caleb was like, right before the timer went up, he's like, my mouth's not dry, I don't like this feeling, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But it's just really cool, electric environment that we get to expose people to and say, hey, go do your best, leave it all out there. And like Jeff said, like, as long as you go 110%, you have absolutely nothing to be mad about with your score. The only way that you sit back and kick yourself in the shins a little bit is if you left something in the tank, you left a little bit on the table. And as long as you make sure you don't do that, whether that's red line, crash, stumble through the finish, you should be plenty happy with the result. That's all I got.
Awesome. I guess I'll ask Mitch, Jordan, and Zach as the more veteran CrossFitters here. What do you think we'll see 19.2? Do you think we'll see something more skill heavy, or do you think maybe this trend will continue given the recent changes in? We might see more simpler open workouts moving forward. Jordan, go first. Mitch is telling me.
Yeah, that was my thought initially with seeing 19.1. I was wondering if the majority are going to be more inclusive this year, as kind of the CrossFit health movement has gotten bigger and bigger. So, I think it could be something as simple maybe as throwing in just, burpees, pull-ups, movements like that for 19.2 versus things like, chest to bar or handstand push-ups or things like that. I do think as we get deeper in, we'll see some movements for sure to separate, some of the athletes who just naturally have that skill set. But I wouldn't be surprised if 19.2 also is similar, at least in movement skill level to 19.1.
Zach, what are your thoughts?
I'm willing to bet we'll see a repeat of one of the previous open WODs next. They love doing that, especially, it's a great retest for the folks that have done the open multiple times. So they usually, at least one of the weeks in the open, do a repeat of a previous open workout. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. I agree, Jordan. I think that we'll probably see some more inclusive workouts, but I think at least 2 of the 5 are actually going to be a higher skill level than we've ever seen in the open. That's my guess, because they're actually taking athletes to the games from the open now, where previously they've had the next bump of regionals. And regionals is usually where you saw like the highest level skills come out in heavier weights and those types of things, versus the open has always been lower skill than regionals. So I wouldn't doubt it if we see some higher level skills come out in the open, over the 5 weeks. But I have a feeling this next one will be some sort of a repeat. Hopefully not 13.1 that I brought up earlier.
Not a bad call with repeat. I have money on for week 1, and think about the 17.1, which is alternating dumbbell snatches, burpee, box jump overs. If you remember that, it was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 snatches with 15 burpee box jump overs in between each one. And that was a burner. The thing with that, though, is that it's a similar time domain as what we just did in 19.1. So I don't know if they would double that up, but I would expect some burpees coming up. The higher skill, heavier load tends to show up week 3 and beyond, right? So I would expect this year in my money is on snatch. We saw heavy clean last year. The year prior we saw a snatch ladder in 2017. So I'd be willing to bet on those odds that we're going to have some snatch this year, but I wouldn't expect that until 3. I would expect some intermediate skill. Maybe we see some double unders. Maybe we see a moderate weight barbell, just having that week, but still something that people can dip that toe into RX for week 2. So maybe something like deadlifts. I don't think we'll see this roster this early on, but this is one of my favorite games because all of us are guaranteed to be wrong. Everyone believes that they had 100%. So it's one of my favorite. It's like what would you do if you won the lottery?
I have no thoughts on what 19.2 will be. I don't get into that speculation game. I'll just do it when it shows up. That's how it goes, right? I'll do it if I can and scale it if I can't. That's kind of CrossFit in a nutshell. So we'll wrap up here for this week's recap roundtable. Next week we'll have Allie, Kristen, Sarah, and Christina here, as well as Dustin. So we'll have the full ICE CrossFit faculty board. So we'll have about 13 or 14 people on here. So it'll be we'll hear a lot more perspectives. We'll hear perspective from the pregnant athlete with Christina and from another longtime open veteran with Sarah with 9 years of experience. So we'll leave it here this week, and then we'll be back next Monday for recap roundtable of 19.2, and we'll see who was right, Jordan, Mitch, or Zach. And we'll see. We'll talk about Jeff's score, and I'm sure he'll have some sort of excuse about thoracic strength and mobility as to why he did not perform the way he wanted to. There's something about type 2 muscle fibers, etc., etc. But we'll leave it here this week.
I think it's worth mentioning, some of us work every weekend, so it's a little bit different lifestyle, I think, than when you have a little more flex time. So that's worth mentioning. And I did land from Baton Rouge. I'm at 2 a.m. this morning. So, I mean, it's worth having a few of those things out there. But even those hurdles being in place, we'll see what happens.
All right, thanks for being here this early, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week.
Best of luck, everyone.
Good luck, Jeff. We're praying for you.